living with a disability and going to a mainstream school, which I did, I always felt that I stood out, that I never quite fitted in, and so I was never that confident. I guess, in all honesty, it was only with the support that the staff here and my support worker gave me that I've been able to be as confident as I am here now. I don't want to see people be how I was, say, 8, 9 years ago, before support of Family Mosaic, before I'd got a social worker from the borough, and I don't want to see people stay the way I was, because the way I was feeling then was a terrible way of feeling. It was destroying me from the inside, and I don't want other people to feel that way either. Family Mosaic to me is like an umbrella, in that it's got so many strands. An umbrella has so many strands attached to it. It isn't just one-on-one support. It's a whole load more than that.
Compared to my friends at school, they were going out and doing all these things, but I wouldn't always be able to. Didn't know exactly what escape route I had. I never really went through with anything because I didn't know where to start. The support and the connection I had with my key worker, she helped me out a lot she saw it through my eyes, and I didn't feel anyone else had, so I had a bit of a stronger connection with her.
Family Mosaic played a massive part in my life in getting me into the right kind of things that I needed to improve my life. And the good thing about Family Mosaic, which a lot of places don't do, is that they want to know what we want, as opposed to, you know, what they think is good for us, you know, and that way nothing's forced down your throat, because it's a choice that we've been a part of.
If it hadn't been for them, really, then I wouldn't be able to cope on my own. What am I going to complain about? Because I've got somewhere to live, right? And I'm happy there. And the staff here, we get along all right. We don't live like a strangers in here.
I didn't think I'd needed support. I wanted to do everything by myself. I always have done. It did feel good to finally get somewhere and realise I can get some help. There are places out there.
It's a blanket. I would call it as a blanket. It's something as a blanket that I know that if I get into any troubles or any difficulties, that I know that I can just call on someone, and they'll somehow they'll find a way to sort the problem out. They'll find a way to deal with whatever issue that may arise. The support that they give you as well is tailor-made for each individual. I knew that growing up and becoming a young adult, I wanted to become more independent.
There was never any opinions or anything like that, and I really respected that. It was just a case of, well, this is what we need to do, you know, and it was always about we, you know, so I kind of made me feel very comfortable.
You become quite close with your key worker. They find out quite a lot about you and work closely beside you and how to build yourself back up again. It is hard to let them in, but once you gain that trust with them, it can really help you, and it's really positive.
I was still taking steps and putting one foot in front of the other, and I didn't even realise I was doing it in the beginning. And in my life, I've not had a lot of people that I can count on.
They started computer lessons here. Some guys coming in and teaching us. I probably I'm 80, probably might say, oh, I'm too old. But I'm interested. I'm interested to do it. I like to help myself, as I said. So I will try anything that would help me to advance.
But I've had to learn that with the support, I can ask for advice from my support worker, I can ask for guidance, but not necessarily will she do it for me.
You can't do it all by yourself. You need that help. They can't do it all for you. If you're not gonna help them, they can't help you. If they do all these organising of things for you and you don't turn up to them, it's not gonna get you anywhere. So it's a combination of both your willpower and your motivation, and their help and support gets you through everything.
You know, in the beginning when I was in support, I relied massively on Family Mosaic. I had to see them twice a week, you know, and over time that was slowed down, you know, and I got to see somebody once a week and then once a fortnight and once a month, you know, and eventually, you know, it wasn't about having no choice to do things for myself, it was because I wanted to.
It took me a while to realise that I could go to support, to know that I could have gone to staff at any point in the day, really, rather than when they've booked meetings. I didn't think that I could. I didn't want to, like, interrupt them or be a burden on them, but they're there to help. So when you first move in, if you feel like you've got a question about anything, just go to them, they'll be able to tell you.
If you have any queries and support and you can't handle it, and you go to them, then they will sort it out for you.
It was hard getting to know her at first, because I kind of thought that if I say something, will she use it against me? Will what I say make me look bad in front of her? Will what I say make her think less of me? And I didn't know whether I could trust her or not at that time. And it took me a while, but now I can say that, yeah, I do trust my support worker, because she's really helped me when I needed it. Make the most of it. Make the most of the help while you get it, because ultimately, in the end, you'll have to use that support that they give you yourself on your own. And so you've got to make the most of what's given to you. If you don't, then come the end, you'll be back to where you first met Family Mosaic, and ultimately it will just be a cycle.
Then I was not myself. I'd closed up. I was in my little shell. Sort of trying to make myself seem happy was a challenge. So now I'm a lot bubblier. I'm a lot more open and happier, and I have goals and plans that aren't too unrealistic, but pushing myself enough.
I suppose I started going out properly after about 3 to 6 months. Not on my own at that point, but now, you know, I'm able to go out on my own, and that's 4 years later, which is, you know, for me, that's a miracle. So they've got a way of coming across to you, you know, that ain't judgmental, you know, and every one of them I've come across from young to old, you know, has got that same way of doing things. But, you know, I've got coping mechanisms and stuff like that now, you know, where my life's just completely changed, and, you know, I can only really thank Family Mosaic for that, you know, it's because of them that I'm sat here.
The support workers really enable yourself and other customers to realise their potential in being an individual in their own right, and not just an individual with a disability or with a illness, for example. That they sometimes go the extra mile to access other services that perhaps as a person in your own right you wouldn't be able to access yourself.
I would say that the staff, they're very helpful. I can say for myself that I'm satisfied.
But I know there's support here. I know there's people that care for me here. I've got friends that live in here. There's always someone to turn to. There is always a way out. It may not seem it, and you may hear it plenty of times, but there is help out there. Don't be afraid to ask for it.
To improve your confidence, to improve your life, to improve your self-worth in yourself as well. Getting rid of the doubts that you have, the doubts and the confusions. It's to get rid of that and to really enable you to be free of that and to enjoy your life. And the best thing about the support that I get from Family Mosaic is, well, there isn't one thing. I just enjoy all of the support that I get. I don't take none of it for granted, but I enjoy all of it, because all of it is beneficial to me and helpful in its own individual way. So I can't name just one thing, because just everything is just great.